Today is day 45 of sobriety, and of course, tons of emotions. Today feels a little bit more peaceful as I'm realizing I'm trying to hold on to a life I don't love. I'm trying to hold on to a way of being in the world that isn't truly in alignment with myself, my true self, and who I was born to be. And not just born to be, I think there is becoming that obviously has to be done. There's work that has to be done. But we also are born so perfect, and then we somehow lose that idea along the way and take on all of the beliefs of those around us. And there's so many psychological reasons, and I'm not a psychologist, but like try to stay safe, stay in the tribe. I mean, we're literally learning from the adults around us because that's the only option we have. But I've been feeling so freaking agitated through this sobriety, and the thought of like just fucking go back to where I was able to get off of work, have a drink, have everything be fine because I knew I had that drink coming, right? So it almost felt like I could manage things a lot more when I was drinking. And that feels like awful to say, but and it's not the truth, absolutely not. And what I'm recognizing is that it was just numbing. It was numbing my heart's desires. Like it was really, alcohol was used to keep me quiet. And before it was alcohol, it was religion that kept me quiet. It was the conditioning of my upbringing that kept me quiet. And now that I have neither of those, there's like some screaming on the bus. Like if I'm to think of like all layers of me as we're all on this bus together, and sometimes the child wants to play, and then sometimes the eating disorder, the person who wants to control everything, needs to like drive the bus, right? So if I'm thinking of this bus full of parts of me, it's right now, it just feels as if there are so many parts of me that are coming up because I am not functioning or numbing the way that I used to, and I used to consider it functioning. But it like I just can't do it anymore type of a deal. That's how I feel, is like I can't do it anymore. I can't keep up the facade. Anything that feels unauthentic to me right now, I like have no desire to fucking do it. No desire. Don't want to do it. Don't want to touch it. I don't want to look at it. I get super tired. I mean, I guess it just feels as if the foundation that I have built my life on is absolutely crumbling. And I am learning to let it crumble. To let the foundation fucking break. Because what I'm going to be able to build with where I'm at now is going to be truer to who I am, truer to what I am supposed to do, and light my soul up more. My childhood was one of magic. It's It's why I have the word tattooed on my hand. And I could go off on why I love when people ask me what my tattoos mean, and I want to get all of the tattoos that mean nothing, because I don't ask you why your hair's green. My daughter's hair's green. But regardless, tangent, I would say my childhood was magic. It felt as if I could explore so much. We lived, my mom hated it because it kind of looked like a junkyard, and it did. I'm sure the other neighbors didn't love it, but my dad owned a electrical company, and so they had their shops in the back, in our backyard. We shared it with my grandpa. The offices were in the backyard, and then all of like their supplies, right? So for a young kid, I would go in our backyard, and I remember finding these bins of wire, and if you stripped them, it was like so many cool colored wires within it. They're really, really thin. And instead of selling lemonade, I remember creating ornaments. Like to sell, I would sell ornaments. And up front, instead, like up on our, not our front porch, but you know what I'm saying, out in our neighborhood, on that little road that no one was going to pass back then. But like I was able to just explore. Like I don't remember being inside. I don't remember being told no. When it came to my creativity, it was like the world was my oyster. Yeah, it was just like, I can do and I can create whatever I want. And I miss that magic. I miss the magic of my childhood. And I think that magic left when I realized that my dreams were different than other people's. And I don't think any of us were authentically could say what our dreams were. Like you can't even blame one person for this. Again, it's that whole lizard brain of us wanting to survive and wanting to fit in, and to do that you've got to fit in with the crowd, and you do what the masses are saying. And the masses in my life were telling me that I should want to live a certain life. I needed to prioritize. They told me what it meant to be a woman. They told me what it meant to be a good enough woman. And that really drove home when I knew I was losing my mom, because I had to be good enough to be able to see her again. And a good woman does this list of things that the masses was telling me. And everyone has that in their life. We all have a conditioning in our life. Everyone has a governing body, usually, I would say, a majority of us. And that governing body, I didn't challenge it because of so many reasons. I didn't see anyone else challenge it. And secondly, when it came to literally life or death for my mom, and the ability in my mind to be able to see her again, when it came to, you follow these things, of course I was going to follow them, because that's what I believed. And that's what everyone around me believed, that if I did X, Y, and Z, I would see my mom again. That's a huge thing to hold over someone. And long story short, without getting into that, is that I built my foundation around what it meant to be a good woman. I did the things. And there was moments that my dreams would kind of peek out and be like, hey, remember me? Remember, we kind of want to be a big deal. Like, let's fucking go to Chicago and be the best stylist. I don't know why Chicago, but regardless, I wanted a city, and I wanted, probably because I like the cold. But there's moments where these like dreams would peek their head out and be like, hey, remember me? And I would shove it down out of fear of what others would think of me, fear of rejection, fear of being wrong. Like, what if at the end of this, I do have it all wrong? And I knew it was supposed to be X, Y, and Z, and I was wrong the entire time. Like, fear of that. And I mean, fear drives us into so many ways of being and ways of living, and dictates our daily life if we let it. And so I let fear crush my dreams. I let fear take me away from what I wanted. And I thought I found myself, and thought I found a way of living that spoke to my heart, but kind of kept me within certain boundaries of still being that good woman. And like I said, day 45 of not drinking, of not numbing, and being very acutely aware of different emotions, I recognize that the entire foundation that I have built my life on is crumbling. And I'm actually excited, despite being completely petrified. I think I'm excited. I'm excited to let what is not me fall away. I am excited to feel the magic that I felt when I was a kid again. To play around and to dance and to create and to love. To love myself enough to do those things, and to love those around me and encourage our own paths. So today is the thought of letting the foundation completely crumble and building something new, and building it off of who I am, deep down, who I was born, those innate sparks that I hid, letting them out and just seeing where it takes me, and letting go of any specific outcome. Because it all works out the way that it needs to. And that is one thing that I've always believed, and I've always felt deeply. This one feels like there's a lot more at risk. If I only would have really gone for things when I was younger. Now I've got 2 kids to provide for and things to manage. But at the end of the day, just managing them is creating so much anxiety and hatred and agitation. I can't manage my life on the old foundation that it was built on. So here's to the crumbling. Here's to a new foundation being built that is authentic to me, and to really living without fear.